Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Fallout Bar. We are already on night 4 of the Premier League for 2026. And because it's night 4, we've got 4 of us on the show as well. This is unheard of territory. I am going to have no idea where I'm going. I struggle when we've got 2 of us, never mind the rest. Well, let's start off with the returning Welsh correspondent, first one of the year. So we'll come to you first. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. It feels strange to have week 4 before I make my first appearance this year, but I won't lie. I was available tonight, quietly confident I'd have at least one Welshman in the final, but lo and behold, that plan went out the window. But no, all good, thanks. Hope you 3 gentlemen are well.
Yeah, it got off to a good start for you in that regard, as we'll come on to in a little bit. But yeah, we were getting a little bit concerned for your well-being because we hadn't seen you for that long. We're starting to think that something may have happened. Dan and Dave both made their debuts this year already. But Dan, will come to you. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm absolutely not winning anything on predictions in the Premier League, but other than that, I'm fine and dandy.
Fantastic. And Dave from across the pond, how are you, mate?
I'm good, and off of what Dan said, I'm happy I wasn't here last week because I probably would have gotten none of this right. And I feel like every week that goes on, I get more confused on what we're watching. So excited to open up this can of worms and try to dissect what the hell just happened.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. We have got a nice new layout for us tonight. We've sort of kept the graphics, but we've thrown us all over the place, mainly because the moment of the night took away Phil's opportunity to actually build us a proper layout for 4 of us. So I've had to bodge something together in the background. But we will come on to that moment shortly. But let's start off with the first game of the night. And seeing as you're returning and seeing as it involved a Welshman beating the world number 1, we'll come to you first, Carwin. And we have got Johnny Clayton beating Luke Littler 6-3 in the first game. There was last week, I don't know whether you watched, but we were going through the predictions and it was the most split I've ever seen the chat room in terms of a Luke Littler game. And are we starting to get worried about him, or is this just Johnny Clayton playing really well?
Well, I think it's more of a case of Johnny Clayton in his head. As in, it's becoming a bit of a habit now. Boring, really, seeing Clayton beating. No, I don't think
You're never getting bored of that. I'm not having that.
I don't think we need to worry. I think there was always going to be a point where you'd see a dip in form from Littler. Did I expect it to last this long? Probably not. But at the same time, I think when he has lost, he hasn't been at the races and his opponents have. And I feel like Clayton at the moment is probably in the best form we've seen from him in a few years, as in he tried so hard to get back in the Premier League. He's said on more than one occasion that this is his favourite tournament. And I guess after saying something like that, you've got to back it up. And being on top of the table after 4 weeks is backing that up. But I think it sort of follows how he's played all week, really, as in Players' Championship semi-final yesterday. Yes, he lost to Gerwen Price, but 101 average. There was no sort of, it wasn't a poor performance. And obviously he won the Premier League last week. So it's I think he's riding the crest of a wave. And when you do that, you've got to win games. And that's what Clayton's doing. But I'm not worried for Littler. I'm worried for people between Clayton and Littler in the table at the moment, because there'll come a point.
You'd like to be there usually, but you're probably a bit worried with the way that it looks at the moment.
Exactly, because there'll be a point where he'll explode and go absolutely bonkers. And God help those that are within reach of a couple of nightly wins when that happens. But it's sort of exciting in a way that the Lukes are struggling a bit, because it means they'll have to perform better to close the gap.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to switch it up today, and we're just going to go, everyone's getting a game and we'll just move on to the next one. So we're just going to rattle through them at a bit of a pace. So I'll come to you next, Dan, and game number 2. And again, it is a Luke not firing, as we see Stephen Bunting defeating Luke Humphries 6-4. I say a Luke not firing. I mean, it was 106 average from Luke Humphries, but this is what we talked about with Stephen Bunting, saying he needs to get himself into this tournament. We know he's capable of putting these performances together. Finally, we saw it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit for Humphries. We commented last week, he's playing amazing darts, but he can't win games, which probably starting to become a concern because he didn't do a lot wrong. But
again, only sort of 30% on the doubles, though. He was in the 20s again last week. That's got to be a big concern, I think, now, because it's going on too long, this missing doubles.
Yeah, it's a pattern now, isn't it? It's becoming consistent. And I think we need a good portion of humble pie, because the only question we had when we predicted last week was how many legs, and it wasn't just Humphries.
And to be fair, none of the chat room did either. This was a full sweep of Luke Humphries wins when we looked at it last week.
I didn't see Bunting coming out and averaging 106. He was brilliant. He was taking out big checkouts. And I would love to see that a little bit more. I'm not convinced we're going to get that.
We know he's got these levels. He's capable of doing it. And you can't just keep saying, people keep playing well against me. You've got to up it. And he did tonight.
That match in particular, he had to work for that win. That was absolutely no gift at all. He really had to play well. And he took it on merit. You know, he took a Luke Humphries throwing a big 106 at him. And you can't argue with the result. Bunting was the fair winner.
Yeah. 100%. I'm definitely with you on that one. So for you, Dave, you've got the scrap, the battle. It probably felt maybe slightly worse than what the averages were at times, this one. But Michael van Gerwen up against Gerwen Price, and it was a 6-5 win for the Iceman in a last leg decider that up until that leg started, I don't think anyone knew which way this game was going to go.
No, it just felt, at least going into it, like we were bound to have 11 legs in this one. Maybe not in the matter it did. I believe we had 3, I'm looking at it here, 3 holds of throw in 11 legs, which is pretty, like you said, that's about as scrappy as it's going to get. Gezi just has that, I mean, we've mentioned it before, but that peak game where when he is just free-flowing and he's after it and he's focused, you could just tell in that 9th leg, after it got to 5-4, you know, he was just on it and he was feeling it. And that break at the end, this is kind of the new, we've also talked about this, kind of the new MVG, where when he gets these chances, he had a lot of chances to really bury this and end it. Like at multiple pressure points, he was up 3-1, he had darts to go up 4-1, he had some match dart, like, he has these chances where back when he was at his peak, he would bury them. It was never, you wouldn't even have to watch him throw them. You just know. And now he's not taking those. And especially in the Premier League, if you're not taking chances, you're going to get caught and you're going to pay. So that's exactly what happened. I don't know. I could just be having like recency bias. I feel like Gezi plays at least 10 legs in every single match. His matches are never boring. It's unbelievable. I don't know why, but I mean, he's playing great, and it's, you know, I'm interested because, like we were saying, like what you guys brought up in the first 2 matches, you know, people are seeing, all right, Clayton beat Littler, Bunting beat Humphries, and he won a night. Like, as both Lukes continue to lose, people are looking around like they're going to come back, and some of us are going to get squeezed out of these spots, especially as they continue to lose, and these allotment, there's only so many points in the regular season. They keep going to these people we weren't expecting them to go to. As it gets closer, I mean, both Lukes have the ability to pull out of a Euro Tour or some of the Pro Tours to focus on the Premier League towards the back end if they need those points. Like some of these guys, most of them do, but some of them don't have that much of a luxury. And if they do that and put all of their effort into this, it's like we said, it's going to get really weird and dicey in those final few weeks in terms of jockeying for those spots.
Yeah, it could be really close, and the numbers we've seen sort of qualify in recent years might not be enough and when it comes down to it, because you might need to be a bit higher than what was first thought, because nobody's running away and taking loads of points off people. So it does leave it a bit more wide open. You did drop in there about pullouts from Euro Tours and Pro Tours. There's been a bit of that going on this week. We'll not get into that too much on here, but that's one probably for the live lounge on a Monday night, which will be back for you as ever looking forward to Minehead this week as well, and I cannot wait for Minehead. I'm so excited now. We're less than a week away from me setting off now. I am buzzing. Quarter final number 4 then, Colin, and we're back to you, so you don't get a shot at another Welsh clash. You've got to put your knowledge to the test here and go for something other than the Welsh option. And it was Jan van Veen up against Josh Rock. And now let's forget the game. What are we talking about? We're only talking about one thing in this game, aren't we? We are talking about the moment of the night, the moment of the league phase so far, the moment of the Premier League from the last couple of years, let's be honest.
The PDC dancers.
Yeah. That's it. Absolutely. Yeah. Josh Rock hitting a 9-darter in front of his home fans. The walk-on was incredible. But the 9-darter, my word, what a moment.
Oh, as in, I cannot even imagine the emotion and the jubilation you feel doing that anywhere, let alone in a packed arena in front of your home crowd. As in, it was the perfect minute, 90 seconds, whatever you want to call it. And as some people are putting in the chat now, mainly because it came from nowhere. As in, at no point in the first, at no point in the first 6 legs did anybody think, oh, I fancy Josh Rock to hit a 9-darter here, because it was sort of out of nowhere. But you know, that's the magic that the Premier League can throw. That's the magic that 9-darters create. That's the magic that sport brings us in, isn't it? Because the unexpected happens at those points. And obviously, he hit the 9-darter. He's still 5-2 down. I do think he probably waited a bit too long for starting the next leg, because it felt like all the adrenaline had just disappeared from his body, and he sort of
he started the leg poorly. It took him a little bit to. He sort of did get going again towards the end of the leg, but it was a bit too late. But at that point, I'll be honest, I think I'm all for. He's got no points at that point. He's still 5-2 down. I'm all for just taking the moment in. I think for me, I just enjoy it, take every second of it, and drink it in. Because realistically, when you're playing someone as good as Jan is at the moment, you aren't going to win 4 more legs on the bounce to get yourself a win.
Of course not. And there's probably a good chance, if that's me in front of a Welsh crowd, the tops are off. We're going crazy.
You're in the crowd. You've literally crowd surfed to the back of the arena, out the door, into the bar.
I'm shaking hands. I'm not playing the last leg. I don't care.
Literally shaking every single person in the arena's hand.
So I think what happens after that 9-darter is irrelevant. It's all about that. It's all about that. Nobody will ever take that moment away from Josh Rock. Whatever happens to him in this year's Premier League campaign, in the rest of his dart career, he can turn around and say, I hit a 9-darter, my Premier League debut year, in front of my home crowd. And he gets a set of golden darts with golds, the price of gold on the up.
Ready for him at the end. I saw on the telly before the final. He already had them in his hands.
Exactly, and the price of gold at the moment, it's not a bad second prize to get.
No, it's not. I don't think he'll be doing anything with them, though. I think they will be staying. I don't think he's nipping off down his local shop or popping them off to cash for gold, or if they're still even going. I don't know if they're a thing anymore. I think he might be keeping hold of those. Looking at his campaign so far, obviously no wins, but just even in the way that he threw those 3 darts for the 1-4-1, like every single one of them was perfectly in the middle of the target that he went for. It just fills me with a little bit of confidence that he has got the bottle for this Premier League, and that when it comes down to it, he's going to win matches, he's going to win a week at least, and he's not going to end up completely disgracing himself.
Oh, definitely. I think it sort of mirrors Bunting's campaign last year, where he wasn't doing much wrong, he just couldn't win a game. And whilst Rock is not hitting those 105, 106 averages, the confidence is there. He just needs a bit of luck. I think he just needs to catch somebody on offish night, where they only hit a low 90s average, he scrapes through the quarterfinal, and then he's up and running. I think the toughest thing with this format is because you're seeing the same players week after week after week, until you get on a bit of a run, get the momentum going, it's a horrible stage to play on, because you're coming up against somebody capable of hitting 110 average and battering you. So it's just turning that confidence and those chances into a win. And I think he'll be fine. What probably goes against him now is the fact that both Lukes are struggling. So if he wants to make a run for the playoffs, then he's got to really get his skates on. But it's his first year. I think just find your feet this year and then grow from there.
Yeah, agree with that. Before we get on to the semi-finals, we have got a clip from Josh Rock as well. So let's have a hear as to what he said when he spoke to Phil afterwards.
I don't know. I believe my granddad, my uncle was with me the other night, but holy, I can't swear but in your home crowd, first time there, obviously didn't play what I can do, but I was very nervous. But to hit a 9-darter, as nervous as I was, holy God. No, definitely not. If it's the only time I've ever played in the Premier League, well, hopefully it was a lot more, but my first time in Belfast, my home crowd, 9-darter, wow, words can't even explain the way I feel at the moment.
I'm not sure he really said anything there, but it still just shows you how he was feeling, even sort of 20 minutes after he hit that 9-darter. He's still not come down. He still can't really even process it. But what a moment for him. And in time, I'm sure he will come to sort of savour it and enjoy it a little bit more, I would imagine. On to the semi-finals then, and we're back to you, Dan. Semi-final number 1, Johnny Clayton up against Stephen Bunting. And our first whitewash of the Premier League campaign. Obviously, there's the walkover for Littler against Van Gerwen, but that doesn't really count. And in this one, I know how well Stephen Bunting was playing, and he was averaging 106 again after doing it in the first game. But when he got to 4-0, I was just thinking, he did this against Johnny last time. And is he just going to turn it around? But none of that tonight, just kept his foot on it and got the win. And it's a really good performance from him once again.
Yeah, I was similar. I was like, he's been 4-0 before. If Johnny gets one and then he gets a break, and Clayton, when he's on, he can be so tidy towards the back end of the legs. But at the end of the day, Johnny Clayton averaged 90, which we know is below par, but it's not atrocious. And Stephen Bunting only given 2 looks at a double. He was just, all I can do is give him praise. As I say, he took a lot of heat. Arguable whether that is deserved or not, but he's absolutely showed up and played his socks off tonight. His first whitewash, 6-0. A little bit concerned about Clayton. He's still got his 2 points, which I think if you looked at the draw tonight, he'd have probably took. But that's a couple of times now we've seen him really show up in a quarter and completely fall off going into a semi. Yeah. Obviously, last week he was sensational, so that might be a little pattern to watch out for. I mean, especially with how tight this is probably going to be towards the back end. Will just getting 2 points be enough come the end of the season? But yeah, I've got all the praise in the world for Stephen Bunting. He was absolutely brilliant. These first 2 games, averaging 106 over 16 legs. He only dropped 4. Just tremendous. Clayton wasn't great, but he never gave him anything to try and get going. He just kept his foot on the gas and didn't give him a chance of coming back. Yeah,
like you say, the scoring was really good from Stephen Bunting, but I think more impressive for me was the doubling, because we have seen him score all right in games already in this Premier League and then struggle at the back end of the leg, not get it done, give chances to people and end up getting beat. And there was none of that tonight. And for someone that, like I say, he's under pressure, and whether it's justified or not, and whether people feel he was justified being in there or not, you're going to start to feel that pressure, from the start. And the more it goes on where you don't pick points up, that gets harder and harder. So for him to do what he did tonight was really, really impressive. And it bodes well for the rest of the competition, because the more we get people in and competing and winning games and winning nights, if everyone's doing it, it's just going to be fun right all the way through the 16 weeks. And there's always some talk about the format, but no one's going to get bored if it's still all to play for.
I mean, whatever Bunting has done in preparation for this week and whatever mental state he got in before this week, he just needs to replicate. Because he usually Stephen Bunting 3 darts in hand. In my head, I'm like, there's 50% chance he's going to get this. This could very easily go wrong. And then he's having to split and he's messing around on 3-3, 1-1. And it was most of the time, it was first start. He was just so clinical. He never ever give his opponent a cheap leg. You know, if you were winning a leg off him tonight, you were working hard for it. You were outplaying him in the leg. And I would like to see it a bit more. As we say, we want 8. I mean, we'd like Rock to come on, but we want 8 players all competing for the playoff spot. We want to be going into week 16.
Oh, if Rock
not knowing what's going to happen.
Wins it next week. I think someone just said that in the chat room as well. Liam Mitch in there, like, Rocky win next week, and all of a sudden, like, he's right on, and that is what we want to see.
I want Rocky to play with the golden darts next week and win.
Yeah, and just go everyone up. Yeah, that would be impressive. I'm not sure how well they'll work, although he had a little change of equipment, which it seemed like he literally just changed from one set of his flights to another one that was exactly the same. It didn't seem like there's anything different, but then from that he went and rattled in the 9, so I don't know. Could
be mental, but they've got to be the lucky darts for now, surely. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever risk throwing them again.
That's 100%. So on to the second semi-final then, Dave, and we come to you on this one. Gerwen Price up against Jan van Veen. And again, you said it before when we were talking about the quarterfinal. Plays a lot of legs, does Gerwen Price, doesn't he?
He's getting his money's worth for playing in the Premier League. He's getting probably played he maybe has played the most legs. I don't know. That'd be a fun stat.
Someone must be better than this at us and in the chat room that knows how many legs each of them have played and probably knows who is at the top there.
He might be number one. I don't know. It's like you just know that you're going to get a good match every time he's on stage for some reason. But yeah, I mean, this was for me probably the match of the night. The scoring was pretty ridiculous. It was one of those where it felt like even a 1 treble visit was like, oh, that's attackable. Like the other guy could walk up and bang in 2 or a 180 or a 177. And that was what was happening a lot. I think there was a stretch where Gezi hit 10 triple 20s in a row when he was throwing at him. Obviously, he had the 6 into a 9, and then he hit one to start the next. It was crazy. So crazy performance from Jan. That double 16. I don't know how he did it in the Euro Championship final. He does it here. He's just, and I think Wayne said it on the broadcast. He's just so clutch on that. He may be the best double 16 hitter in the world. I think Ryan Joyce held that for a while, and I think it might be. Or you could put Cool Hand in there as well, but Jan's making a run for it. He is so reliable on it. He tees it up well all the time. And it's such a nice tool to have when you have a double that you can just pound, I mean, he's playing the man who's probably the most prime double 20 hitter we've ever seen. And you saw what it did for him in his career. So he just has to, and I won't get too far because I know we're talking about the final, but if you felt like this might have been the night after winning a match like that, you thought this might have been 105 average, hits a clutch dart, that was a really shaky final leg. And, I think he'll get there, but what a performance from Jan. He just has unbelievable composure.
Yeah, very much so. Just going back to the previous game with Josh Rock and the change. Great Strong was saying the second set with K-shifts. I paused it on the broadcast and took pictures of his darts before and afterwards. They didn't look like K-shifts to me. They looked exactly the same from what I could see, but maybe they were. I will bow down to your knowledge if that is the case. Just coming back to Gezi as well. Gezi did hit 3 180s in a row. There were 9 perfect darts, 9 straight treble 20s you do not see very often. But he gave himself an opportunity for the 9 dart. I wasn't able to take it, but I did think it was going to be another 2 9-dart a night in Belfast for a minute.
Yeah, I found it interesting that he started the 1-for-1 on the treble 19 after hitting 3 180s in a row. It sort of felt like you may as well just check the 10th dart up and then
worry about that.
Yeah.
I do like that route. But like you say, when you've hit 9 straight treble 20s, maybe just sticking there might be a better option. But I do prefer the start on the 19s, goes to 20s, and then it's an easier switch rather than going up, down, up. It just obviously down, up, and then across is a bit easier. But
I can't remember where I heard it. I think it was during one of the pro tours, but someone, was it Dawson? Someone was saying that Gezi has told them or has said he prefers the triple 19 20 because he likes the 20 down to 19 up to 12, throws some guys off, and
it
he
feels
likes
harder. It feels more difficult.
It makes sense. He likes the low, work your way up to the 12. So, but I agree with Carwin, and that's kind of the pushback you always hear. It's like you're in the slot on the 20s. Why are we going out of it just to go back up? It's all the same probably, but
it's a bit like obviously Luke going 17s and then double 15. Obviously, he likes that way, but it's in the same. You're in the same area again.
And you can argue the efficiency of routes, but if you're up a bunch and you're going for the 9, do whatever feels right. Like just hit the 9. So
that's it. That's all we want to see.
That's it. Do whatever if you want to.
Way you do it, but
exactly.
Just the fucking thing.
It probably helps him as well. He doesn't have to think about what he's doing. He has the set route. He can just steer in his rhythm. When you see people trying to change it up, other than the absolute freaks like Luke, who could probably hit 1 in 5 different ways if he wanted to have that set routine, it just makes you think they've got more chance of hitting it.
Yeah, definitely. So on to the final then, and you mentioned 2 people going for the first night wins of the campaign, but it was the bullet, Stephen Bunting, who was the one that got over the line and was able to win this one. It was a 6-2 win in the end. And I have got it here somewhere in the background. I was trying to change the graphic, but I hadn't loaded it up. There we go. 6-2 win for Stephen Bunting in the final. And it's just felt like another game. Maybe wasn't the level of his games before that point tonight, but he just felt in control throughout all of it again. And we've run out of turns now. Everyone's had 2 goals, everything. So whoever wants to jump in, feel free to jump in at this point. But really important, I think, for Stephen Bunting to not just win 2 games, but get a result of getting the night win and that confidence that brings.
And he dealt with arguably the form player in the Premier League at the moment as well, and dealt with him very handily. I do think there's an element of Jan running out of a bit of steam. I think the Price match might have took a bit out of him, the way that he had to go right to the depth and he couldn't quite get his composure back, which was a surprise because that's something I think Jan's really good at. But Bunting just put on a masterclass on how not to throw away a game. He was really good at just not letting opponents get a chance. He wasn't as good as he was in his other games. The averages says that, but he just won the legs he was meant to win and managed to steal a couple, and he just never let Jan close that gap.
Yeah, I think that was it, wasn't it? The 50-50 legs in the final, Bunting won them all, and be that on his own throw or pinching Van Veen's throw, he just won those important legs. And as you say, never let Jan come into the game. And I was surprised actually that the averages were so close, because it felt that Bunting was in greater control than a 97 plays a 95 average. But yeah, I know we've all written him off already this Premier League, but he's got a habit of showing us that when people give him chances, he can get the wins.
I'm not worried about it, but I will just bring it up. In the last calendar year, the last 365 days, 13 finals for Gian. He's won 3 of them. I don't think it's a thing. I think it's just
to say. I mean,
I don't think it's a
early
thing.
Early on in his career, and obviously already won a major. But I do get that. That is, it is a good point to bring up.
It's becoming a bit of a pattern. Now, he won the World Youth. He won the European. Like, he won some big ones. And then he won a Pro Tour last March over Luke Humphries. But I don't know. That's if it happens like 1 or 2 more times, because tonight in the final, that's I saw he seemed more frustrated tonight and I know it was a little bit of a different vibe, it probably felt more achievable than he did at the World Final. He never showed it in the World Final. I think it was also just everyone's putting their hands up, like, what are you going to do? But he was angry, and I think it's starting to. I hope it doesn't, but I think it's starting to get to him a bit. But that is a little. I didn't realize it was that bad, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
I think it's a stamina thing, though, isn't it? Because most of those finals he's lost, it's like a 3 or 4 matches in a day or in an evening. And I think with experience that comes. I think he's probably more gutted tonight because he's overcome the emotional roller coaster of playing the local kid who hits a 9 darter. He's then probably beaten Price when he shouldn't have. And he's come up against arguably the weakest player in this Premier League so far up until tonight and been blown away from him. So I think I get his frustration more than the World Final, but as in, I think it's definitely a case of when, not if, he gets many a title under his belt. I think he's just too good, and with experience, I think he'll find that way of just getting over the line constantly.
I think with the finals thing as well, like Premier League nights, they are finals, but first to 6.
Yeah, let's
they're
not.
There's a little bit of a caveat.
They're fluky.
Final lost.
I agree. Yeah, interesting. I hope. I guess I was a little more concerned with his body language throughout that final, and it's probably more if you put him in that final tonight and put him against Humphries, Littler, maybe it's a little less frustrating. It was probably a little more frustrating because it felt winnable because he's playing who people would say is the maybe second worst in the Premier League, maybe not anymore, but just something I guess to keep an eye on. But I'm not. I still think he's got a good shot at winning a major this year, or at least getting to a final and a chance to resurrect it.
Yeah, I'm fully with you on that one. So we've talked about it quite a bit. Let's have a look at the table, and you're going to see us all go missing, but you will still be able to hear us for this one. The table after night 4 of the Premier League. And it looks quite a bit different to what it did. I'll start at the bottom. Josh Rock obviously still at the bottom, but is the moral top spot with his 9 darter. He's number 1 in the table. We're giving him that spot. 7th in the table. Only 1 match won through 4 weeks is Luke Littler. 4 points courtesy of the walkover against Michael van Gerwen last week. Luke Humphries just above him also on 4 points, but has actually won 2 games to get his 4 points. Then Stephen Bunting is no longer on 0 points. He now has a night win to his name and 5 points. Just 1 place outside of the top 4, just from that 1 weekly win. It shows how much of a difference it makes, especially at this stage. Then we have got the top 4. Gerwen Price in 4th, 1 night win on 7 points. Michael van Gerwen with 1 night win on 8 points just above him. Jan moves up into 2nd now. No night wins, but has 9 points on the board just consistently throughout without winning a week. But top of the table is Johnny Clayton with 11 points, 1 night won. And I would imagine a happy Carwyn Evans.
Yeah, let's just end the season now, I think, yeah.
Doesn't want any more.
Final, I'll take that. No, it's early days, but I think if you're Johnny Clayton and you're sort of looking at everyone below you with the caliber of players there, you're very happy. And obviously, he's just got to keep winning quarterfinals because pick up 2 points a week. He'll get him to what from here? 20, 25 points. He's not far off then, just sort of getting to the top 4. And I think because we're seeing so many different players beating each other, I don't think we'll have a runaway this year at all. I think it's going to be quite nip and tuck. So if you can just pick up a quarterfinal win every week, you're laughing, I think.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very close. I mean, especially when Josh Rock wins next week as well, then it is really going to tighten it up. Then it's going to be utter chaos.
Well, if Josh Rock wins next week, he plays Littler in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So
Littler will be bottom of the table at that point. Yeah. Which I reckon you would have got very long odds on at any point in the season, Littler being bottom, never mind at the end of it. But Like I'd say, any point in being bottom of the table, you'd have got decent value on, I would imagine.
At what point, and I'm not suggesting it's now or anytime soon, but this thought does pop into my head, and I am being slightly ridiculous. But at what point does Littler start to get a little bit concerned? I'm not suggesting it's now, but it's been a bit of a rough start.
With him being sort of 5 points off second, 7 points off top, I don't think he's concerned at the moment. But if you go, like I say, if realistically we talk about if Josh Rock wins next week, which means another week without a win, puts him 5 weeks in with only one match won in this game, in this comp, I think you start to get a little bit concerned then. Not so much of you being too far away from where you need to be, but just not winning games at all is a worry.
I think the problem is though, if he doesn't win a game till week 12, and then wins four weekly nights on the trot, it still takes him to 24 points. He's not going to be too far away from the playoffs.
No, he won't be too far away, and he'll be in ridiculous
I think week 10
going into the final.
Yeah, I think for me, week 10 is probably, if he hasn't picked any points till week 10, then he starts to think, But until that point, I think he's just too good to worry. And I think Humphries is probably in a bit more of a sticky situation, because I don't think he's got that winning mentality. He hasn't got that killer instinct at the moment. I can't see him winning 4 weeks on the trot, but I can see Littler doing it.
You kind of expect more that Littler would do it rather than Humphries.
Yeah.
Especially the way that Humphries is missing doubles at the moment.
Yeah.
Have you got any concerns for him yet, or when does the concern start for you?
It would have to be really deep. I don't.
Week 16.
It literally would. Yeah, I think he needs to be mathematically out, and I'd be a little concerned.
Only slightly though. You still think he might do it?
Yeah, exactly. They'll bend the rules and find a way. No, what I'm figuring out is I'm assuming both Lukes are in, and if in my opinion, just based on the level of sustainability for how they're playing, I think that Johnny Clayton and Michael Van Gerwen are the two I'm looking at that have the highest likelihood of slipping out of that top 4 if you're going to put those two in. I still don't think Steven's going to get in. I still don't think – obviously Josh Rock is out. So if you're assuming those two get in, I think
you just ended Josh Rock's season there.
Yeah, no.
He's done. He's hit a 9 darter tonight, and you've just gone, I don't get it. Enough.
But I'm about Josh Rock.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to move the table. I'm putting you on screen for that. You're telling me that Josh Rock is gone.
I am concerned. He averaged 91 with a 9 darter. He played horrible outside of that one leg. I think he looks nervous. There was one visit. I'm sure you guys saw it. He threw a triple 20. He missed way high in the single 1 and then hit a single 5. He's all over the place. I actually think, and I'm probably going to get attacked in the chat. Say whatever you want. This was the worst thing that could have happened to him, because now I think he's all celebratory and happy. He should be. He made 30,000. Like, he hit a 9 darter at home. Like, I love it. It's amazing. I'm big picture, and Wayne Martle was kind of saying this on the broadcast after the match. He's averaging he's way off everyone. Everyone's like 96 plus. He's at like 92 for the season so far. He doesn't look comfortable. His timing looks kind of all over the place. I'm personally concerned. I think he's done. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, but the 9 was incredible. But I mean, I don't know if anyone else watched the other 7 legs. It was hard to watch up until that point, in my opinion. He had a 70-something average 2 weeks ago. Like,
I think the issue is
he's out of it yet.
No, but I think the issue is what we sort of said about Stephen Bunting at the start of the season. He had Clayton the first week. He had Littler in the second week. He had, was it Jan last week? I think Rock is in that situation. He's got Littler next week. If he doesn't get a win next week, he's probably 6 points behind. that's more than a nightly win just to get back in the race. So I don't think he's out. I'm not going Dave extreme here. But
you're not absolutely
People,
but I do think
he's done.
He's chasing.
People absolutely destroyed Steven for how he played in the Premier League last year. His final average in the league was a 98. Josh is at a 92. Peter Wright 2 years ago, when he was a disaster, was at a 93. Like, this is bad. If he doesn't hit that tonight, we're all sitting here talking about how much of a disaster this has been and that we got him a year too early. I hope it sparks him on. I'm not trying to be like a doomsayer, but I don't know. I just want to do a slight reality check. That's all. He's on 0 points. 9 darters worth 0 points. It's worth a ton of money, which is great, but he's a far away, and I think it only is going to get worse with Littler next week.
I would cancel the summer trip to Belfast, Dave. I don't think you'll be well.
No, I'm not planning on going. No.
That's the one for you, mate. I think it might be just.
Absolutely not.
Best, yeah. I think I'd be thinking about that one. But yeah, I do get what you're saying, but I just think it's too early yet to be saying anything. I think we're talking about the Peter Wright one. I think we saw a lot worse performances than what we've seen from Josh Rock so far. And I think there were probably a couple of decent performances that pushed that average up to a point where realistically they didn't really deserve to be.
Yeah.
But Dave, Cam's not here next week. We'll continue the chat then.
Yeah, that's it. You've got absolute free reign to do whatever.
If he beats, even if he just beats Littler next week, I will come on here and I'll be on a cross. I'll be done. I will literally be like, you guys can say whatever you want.
I'm going ridiculous now because you are saying that the worry for him is the fact that he's got Littler next week. Littler's won less games in the Premier League than anyone else other than Josh Rock this year.
Yeah, that's true. Whoever loses that,
he's a relegation 6-pointer already.
That is, whoever loses that is going to be in the mixer. So
we've descended into nonsense. Let's listen to what Stephen Bunting had to say after he finished tonight.
No, they're the genuine fans. The people who are doubting are the people who hide behind fake profiles and call abuse and pick. Yeah, they don't even deserve me breath, to be honest. Like I said, I've pulled away from social media a lot, and that's part of my characteristics. That's who I am. I'm just a normal person, whether you see me in the street, in an interview, on the stage, or in Tesco shopping with getting a bacon butty. I'm always the same person. I'm so approachable, probably the most approachable dart player on the planet, to be honest. And I've always got time for the fans, but sometimes idiots do creep into your DMs and on socials, and it can affect you. It can pull you down, and you can feel worthless. Luckily, I've been able to block them out. I've got a fantastic management behind me. I've got a wonderful family, and you've seen tonight I've got an unbelievable fan base, and it goes a long way. And listen, I'd like to thank every single one of them if I could tonight, because they were truly special.
First takeaway from that, he's got a better Tesco than I have, because you can't get bacon butty in my Tesco. And I wish you could. It'd make life a lot easier on my way to work in the morning. But yeah, he is right. You get a lot of shit on socials and the rest of it, and a lot of it unwarranted, because he didn't pick himself for the Premier League. He wanted to be in there, and look, he's backed it up already. We're only 4 weeks in and he's won a night. So although he didn't start well, fair play to him. He is a lovely, lovely bloke as well. When he says he is the most approachable player in darts, like, he's probably not far wrong either. But yeah, just like I say, nothing but credit for him tonight. And now it's everyone's chance to have their moment of time and get their own bit of credit, like I did a couple of weeks ago when I got the correct score in the final for Gezi and who he beat. And Dave also got, not quite as good as me, he only just got the winner, but it is everyone's chance now, though, because it is time for... And as if by magic, because I'm too good to you, look what we have on the screen behind us. And we have the fixtures for next week at the Utility Arena in Cardiff, not the Cowshed in Exeter, which is just a sad point for the Premier League. Not going to Exeter the night before Minehead. Just not the same. It just will never be the same. But we do have our fixtures there, and we will obviously. This is your chance in the chat room to get involved as well. We will put as many of them up on the screen as possible as we go along. If you can't do it, it's because you've not clicked subscribe, because we don't let you comment unless you have subscribed to us, because that's just the way we do it. We make it hard work for you. So make sure you click subscribe, give us a like as well while you're at it, and we will come to you first of all, Carmen. Let's start with you, and we will start with Michael Van Gerwen up against Luke Humphries in the first game of the night. Someone's going to get an early dart on their way to Minehead. Who is it going to be?
I've got a feeling that
We're going to break into song then.
tonight's going to be a good night. Yeah, probably because it's in Cardiff. The Welsh will be in fine song. I can guarantee you that. I don't want to say it, but I think Humphries gets going next week. I think with a trip to Minehead to follow, I think he goes in there having played well in Cardiff, and I think he beats MVG in the last leg, 6-5 Humphries.
6-5. Dan, we'll come to you. You're up next. Which way are you going?
Oh, this one's a tricky one. Van Gerwen, he seemed to have 2 good darts out of 3 every time tonight, but one was going a little bit astray. And Humphries is playing really well, but can't get over the line. I think Van Gerwen is
to get to Minehead early.
Oh, that's a great. I think Van Gerwen's going to do it 6-4. I think he's going to hit a big check out that's going to swing the match.
There we go. Split on the first 2. Dave, which way are you going?
I am going to go a convincing Luke Humphries 6-1.
Oh, that is
I think the doubles are largely fluky, especially because he's scoring so well, and he's not one of these. He's never really been one of these power scorers, faffing at the end of legs kind of guys. Like, I just think it's kind of noise. He's been playing like so well and just maybe not quite getting the results. And he's such a cool head. I don't think it'll bother him too much. So I'm gonna go. I'll go 6-1. The MVG, just the loose. I don't feel safe picking him like you used to. Like he gets the loose visits. Like he will get 3 to double, and you just I don't know. I don't get the warm and fuzzies picking him anymore. So I'll go.
So Josh Rock's finished. Michael Gerwen's definitely not. We got a little loads of clips from tonight.
All right, now I can't go to the Netherlands. Yep. All right, we're checking off all of Europe.
Basically, you just have to stay in the US. Like you're not allowed to leave. I am going to join you though in picking a Luke Humphries win here. I do think it's closer than you've got it, but I think it's 6-3. I fancy he'll have a good little result, and I think Van Gerwen might be a little bit more thinking about the weekend rather than thinking about the Thursday night in Cardiff. In the chat room, what have we got? Gordon is in the 6-5 for Humphries. Liam agreeing with him with the same as well. Bob wants a Welsh 9-darter. We all want a Welsh 9-darter. That would be excellent. Humphries 6-4 for Bobsy, 6-2 Humphries for Andy. Bob's got it 6-4 for Humphries, 6-3 Humphries for Daly, and 6-3 Humphries for Dan. That leaves you all on your own there, Dan, with a Michael Van Gerwen win. You could look like the smartest man in the room.
I will be back next week, very smug, hopefully.
Or you will be the village idiot.
Got a little bit of a cough coming on, okay? So just in case.
You can't be off next week. I'm not available, so one of you boys is gonna have to run the ship next week. It could be any amount of mayhem. And we got 6-2 Humphries for Joel getting in there late as well. Your turn to go first then, Dan, now, because you are the smartest man in the room, as you've now just told us. Jean Van Veen against Johnny Clayton in Wales. Which way are you going?
This one gives me splinters. I'm not going to lie. I don't like this one at all. I've changed my mind 3 times, but I'm going to stick with Van Veen 6-5.
in 6-5. Come to you, Dave, next. Which way are you going?
I am going to also go Van Veen, and I will go 6-4. I think Clayton's just, it's hard to say because if you're hitting them, you're hitting them. I just think he's relying maybe a little bit too much on these. They're not bailout checkouts because he's hitting them.
Johnny Clayton checkouts is what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywhere between about 64 and 121.
He's the king at them, so I could be eating my words come next week. But I think eventually your luck just kind of runs out on those, or at least he regresses a little bit. And so I'll take. I think what Van Veen's doing is a little bit more stabilizing and something you can consistently do. So I'll go 6-4.
Carwin, tell them why they're both wrong.
Well, they're both horribly wrong because Johnny Clayton has got an atrocious record in Cardiff. He's only ever got past the first round once, and in the old phase where he could draw, he drew 6-all and lost 7-3. So purely based on that, Johnny Clayton's going to win 6-2.
He's due.
Johnny Clayton. I mean, that was the result last time they played, last week in the final. I think Johnny Clayton wins as well. I think he's just playing really, really well in the first game of the night. I'm not sure he goes on and goes any further because of the way that he is playing in the second game and having a bit of a wobble, but I think he wins 6-4 for me. I'm going to take Clayton to win this one. In the chat room, we have got loads in, so not just how many of us we've got in here tonight. It's making it hard work for me to get anything done here. Clayton 6-3 goes 8 darts into a 9. Oh, we can't have that. None of that. Van Veen 6-1 for Andy. He's got it very wide. Van Veen 6-4 for Ducky. Joel's got it 6-4 for Clayton. Gordon 6-4 for Jan as well. Dan's got it 6-4 Clayton. 6-0 Van Veen. Liam thinks that Clayton just wants to get straight to Minehead. He's not worried about being there anytime next week. Jan Van Veen 6-3 for Bob. He's just mentioned it there. So he gets done 6. Right, there's his justification that if he can get done 6-0 by Bunting, then anyone can do you 6-0. Alistair's got it 6-3 for. Whoa, he's gone early. 6-3 Price.
Oh.
We'll come to that one in a minute. Clayton 6-4 for Daly, and Alistair's got it 6-4 Van Veen there as well. So we are on to the third game of the night, and it is Gerwen Price up against tonight's winner, Stephen Bunting. Dave, your turn to go first. Which way are you going?
Oh man, this one could make the table really interesting. Just because they're both right on that cut line. It feels super easy to just pick the man who just won the night. I will give him a little bit more respect than I probably would have originally. I will take Gezi in Cardiff. 6-4, but Steven showed something. It's nice that he's no longer kind of this walkover quarterfinal. Almost feels like a bye half the time. Like I hope we don't return to that.
We'll add that one in. Stephen Bunting's a bye.
So I do hope that I almost want him to win because I just think, like we were saying, it just makes it a lot more fun when we have all this, the points spread out so well. But I have to be realistic. I'll take Gezi 6-4 in front of the home crowd.
Gezi 6-4. Carwin, I assume you're going to agree.
Yeah, and just because of the fact that Gezi Price loves to play 10 legs, I'm going to have to agree with Dave and say 6-4, as in he does not play any less than 10 legs.
He doesn't, and historically, matches between these two have all gone at least 10 legs in this competition. So they are ones that generally do go quite close. Dan, are you going that it goes close as well, or are you going somewhere else?
I have 6-4, but I promise I'm not copying my homework. 6-4 Price.
6-4 Price, and I'm going to go a little bit wider. I think after the Lord Mayor's show for Bunting, I think he won't back it up next week, mainly just because I think Price is playing really well, and I think Price wins it 3. A bit of a short night for him, not going all the way to the end. What have we got here? Obviously, Alistair went in early because he misread the fixtures, which is fine. 6-3 price for him. And then we've got Bunting 6-2 for Andy. Price 6-4, which is quite a common theme for Liam. Gordon's got it 6-3 price, the same as me, as is Dan and Bob as well. Ducky's got it 6-2 for price. So there are very much everyone in favour of going price, which means we think it's just a little bit of a flash in the pan for Bunting, but more than happy to be proved wrong next week if he turns up and plays like he did again tonight. And we're back to you, Dan. No, Carwin went first, didn't he? Back to you, Carwin. Luke Littler against Josh Rock, the 2 worst players in the Premier League by a mile, as christened by Dave Connolly.
Well, you've got to remember, Littler's got half his points because of a no-show from MVG. So between them, they've got 1 win.
One game.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Josh Rock because after tonight, I think if he was playing any of the other 7 players, he'd pick up his first win next week. I just feel like in his head, at the moment, he does not beat Luke Littler. And he plays amazingly, but he just fades towards the end of the game. And it wouldn't surprise me if after 6 legs, this match was 3-3. I then think it finishes 6-3 to Luke Littler, and the wait goes on for Josh Rock's first victory.
Wouldn't be surprised, I'll be honest. Dan, have you got anything different for us?
I've got very similar, but I'm going to give Rock another leg, 6-4, Luke Littler.
And Dave, which way are you going?
6-1 Littler, Rock hits a 9-darter.
So he hits another 9-darter, but
no,
worse than he did tonight.
I'm kidding. 6-0. No, I'm also kidding. 6-2. I'll say 6-2. 6-2. 6-2. 6-2. That's my final answer.
I don't know. I've just lost now. It's descended into chaos. We're not doing 4 ever again. What am I doing here? Do I want the upset? I kind of do, just because chaos. I just want it to be. No, I can't see it. I want the upset just to make the table more chaos than it is now. But I think Littler wins this one pretty comfortably. I think it's 6-2 to Luke Littler. What else have we got? Dan Lucas 6-2 for Littler. Ducky's got it 6-0, which was one of the scores predicted by Dave. Andy's got it 6-1 Littler, 9-darter, 112 average, and a big fish. I mean, if he does that, he's probably thrown in a stinker of a leg somewhere to give the leg away as well, because otherwise it'd be averaging about 140. 6-0 for Liam for Littler. Littler 6-3 for Gordon. Rock 6-5 for Bob Just Bob. He is the only one taking Rock to win this one. Bobsy's got it 6-3. Alistair's got it 6-2. And Bob, you reckon loads of booze for the big Josh Rock following in Cardiff, is the Carwin? You're the local man.
I don't know. As in, I'd imagine there'll be more booze in the semi-final.
I think so.
But I don't know. I'd imagine get a hero's welcome.
Yeah, I think he gets a reasonable welcome most places he goes, doesn't he? Let's be honest. Right, now it is the tough part. Remember what you've picked, and from that, tell us who are your finalists and who wins by what score. Dave, will come to you first. I think it's your turn.
I have Humphries, Veen, and I will take Luke Humphries 6-3. I just think eventually things have to start breaking his way. I don't know where he's at, but I believe he came into tonight with the highest average in the Premier League, which is kind of insane given that he's not even in the playoff spots. And I know that doesn't tell the entire story, but definitely tells a lot of it. I mean, we've all been saying it. Like, he's been playing really, really well. Went up and won a pro tour just out of nowhere decided to show up and took the whole thing down. So I think his game's in a great place. I think the little changes he's making with his throws seem to be working. He just, missed a few, important doubles, and that's what happens. Your night's over. It's if it happens at the wrong time, you miss out on a lot. Who knows? If he wins that match, maybe he goes and wins the night. So a lot of snowball effect in these, and I just think I think he finds a way to the final here, and we finally get. He hasn't been in a final. Neither Luke has, right? Even been in one.
No, I don't believe so. No.
Yeah, so we get our first Luke in a final.
So you've got Luke in a final. From the other side, which way are you going? Who have you got and where are you going?
I have Price and Littler, and let's put a second Luke in the final. Why not? We get a Luke
final because, as has been clearly shown by the first 4 weeks of this, we get it far too much, the Luke v Luke finals at the moment.
If we just keep betting on it to happen, and when it doesn't, just double down, then just double down again. Just keep doing it. It's foolproof. So yeah, I'll go Littler over Price. I'll go 6-5. I feel like whenever they play, it's always
6-5 Littler over Price. So go on, final then. Which Luke wins and by how many?
I'm gonna say Humphries gets it 6-4, both ton plus. Great match, some normalcy in the Premier League, and I believe that that would definitely might propel. Would it propel both of them into the playoff spots? No, probably just the winner.
Far too many permutations there to figure that out.
But the winner would be in there, and MVG might slip out. Not sure, but yeah, more chaos. So different night winner.
More chaos. There we go. Dan, I think it probably was you first, so I'm going to come to you next. Which way are you going?
So I'm going Van Veen to beat Van Gerwen to 6-2 in the first semi-final. Littler to overcome some whistling and booing from the Welsh crowd against Price, 6-4. And then Littler to beat Van Veen 6-3 in the final, because if I keep picking Luke Littler, I have to be right eventually.
At some point, the law of averages says that you will be. Carwyn, which one of the Welshmen wins the final?
Well, that is it, yeah.
Welshman.
That's it. I think Clayton beats Humphries 6-3. Price beats Littler 6-4 because he always plays 10 legs. And Clayton blows a 5-3 lead and guess he wins the last leg decider.
It would be very on brand for Johnny Clayton to not quite get over the line against Gezi Price.
Especially against Gezi Price. Yeah, I think last week was the first time in 13 he'd beaten him, and then he's lost him since then again yesterday. So
I'm going to go that Humphries beats Clayton in the first one. Just I think we keep seeing a little bit of a dip from Clayton in the second match. And I think Littler beats Price. So I've very interestingly given us a Luke v Luke final as well. And I'm with you, I think, Dan. I think Littler wins this one and goes into the weekend with a little bit of confidence ahead of Minehead. I think it's one of those that can go kind of either way. Some people just want to get to Minehead and get ready. Some people want to go in with a win. I think Littler will want to go in off the back of a win. And he wins it 6-5. Let's go all the way. Late night in Cardiff and a long drive down to Minehead straight after it.
Can I just say, before the prediction started, I didn't have a Welshman in the final. I've somehow got an all-Welsh final now. So
not only have you got a Welshman winning it, you've got a Welshman being the runner.
Yeah,
I thought they were both going to win 6-6.
Winning the third place playoff as well, even though there's only two of them in the competition.
Yeah, definitely.
Owen Evans comes third.
I wish.
Right, what have we got in the chat room? Who's got Littler beating Van Veen 6-2 for Ducky. Van Veen beating Price 6-5 for Gordon. Littler 6-4 over Van Veen for Liam. We've got Price 6-4 over Humphries for Bobsy. Littler to beat Humphries 6-5 with the second 9-darter of the night. It's going to be some night if Andy's predictions come true. Price 6-4 for Dan. Jan Van Veen beats Rock 6-4 for Bob. and Littler 6-4 for Alistair. And I think that is the lot. So that is us done for night 4. And we are, I nearly said night 5 then because it says it behind us there at the top. So yeah, that's us done for night 4 after, well, the star of the show being Josh Rock, even though he only won 2 legs, one of them being the 9-darter, is all we've got to talk about. No, it's not. Stephen Bunting getting his first night win as well. Getting himself off the bottom of the table, back into the fight for the top 4. We will see you all next week when it will be probably the other 3 that are here right now, because the rest of us are in Minehead and will probably just be finishing off a curry and a few beers at the point where you go live. So yeah, it might be someone else that gets involved, but certainly I think we've got the 3 of you lot, which will be a lovely treat for everyone. So thank you all very much for watching. Go and watch the 2 full clips with both the bonus one this week, obviously getting Josh Rock as well as the winner, Stephen Bunting, there in full on the channel. And we will see you all next week when we'll do it all once again.